Jeez,
Literally.
I will not drive anywhere without a hotel on the pit lane.
Mate, it's pretty easy to get used to when you put your race gear on up in the hotel room and then you walk 10 steps down to your car in the pit lane.
I mean, that's pretty pimp. Hello and welcome to Is It Fast, where today we are taking a trip down under and speaking with Joe. Oh, wait, no, it's not Joe Tanto. It's his lookalike. It's Mr. Luke King Racing. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming on the show. How are you?
It's always lovely to meet up with some friends in the UK. Where my partner Liz is actually originally from Malvern for some of your home viewers there.
Oh, there you go.
Right.
Yeah.
So and my convict descendants are originally from Birmingham and Chelsea. So there's some
where I'm reliably informed all the best convicts come from. So that's
right. Yeah.
Extraordinarily good lineage, top quality burglary there. So that's
the canals of Birmingham, mate. Peaky Blinders.
Yeah, exactly. All the best hats and all the best robberies. So you can't go far wrong. But you've come a long way from your convict. I mean, that's a record, by the way. The quickest length of time to go from speaking to an Aussie from hello to you're all convicts. I mean, yeah. I mean, just for the record, you brought it up. I wasn't going to say.
Yeah. Do you know, if I ever made a debut in British touring cars, I think that I would just give myself the nickname the Convict.
I mean, I can tell you for free, you would sell a lot of T-shirts.
That would be our goal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Luke the Convict King. I mean, it works quite well.
Could work.
Could work. But it wouldn't be your first touring car debut because you are actually a touring car driver right this very second in time, aren't you? There we go. So for those people watching that aren't completely on the pulse of Australian sport, what are you up to? What are you driving, and how are you getting on in what is the super cheap TCR Australia series?
So I should probably preface this with super cheap doesn't mean that TCR is super cheap. Super cheap auto is kind of like your version or our version of Halfords, would you say? Warehouse store, automotive, mainly automotive, right? So they're a big player here. They're like Repco Auto Parts. So good title sponsor. Thanks, Super Cheap, for coming on board. So the TCR series, it's quite a lot bigger here in Australia than what it is in the UK. We've got supercars guys that are coming across. So in the Audi factory team where I am, we've got Chaz Mosdett, who a lot of people in the UK, I would assume, know. He's one of the top 3 guys in supercars, and he's pretty decent on the sim as well. And then we've got a few other supercar guys that have come across to us as well. Will Brown, who won the inaugural season of TCR in 2019. So there's a few big names there. And our fields are regularly up in the mid-20s sort of thing. And we've got pretty fair representation from most manufacturers. So yeah, it's quite a good series here, and it's the alternative to supercars, really. So I know that they don't like to sell themselves this way, but I kind of look at it as like the rugby league versus the Premier League sort of thing. Like they're ball sports, but they're 2 different organisations. So it's a bit that way, but they're getting along all right at the moment.
That's a good analogy, actually. That works quite well. Yeah, and I can imagine it is quite tough because the supercar side of it is pretty, they're quite well established. TCR as a general rule is fairly new to quite a few of us, I think. But because this is what, year 2 for you? Am I right in thinking that?
Technically, it should be year 3, but we didn't get on track last year. So
that was it. Yeah. Your background of wasn't always tin tops, so you a bit more hair raising a bit before. But what was it about and we'll talk about your lovely Audi in a moment, but because you're selling yourself a bit short, I mean, Chaz is doing okay, but you ain't exactly doing badly.
Yeah.
Second's
good, but it's kind of like the silver medal at the moment, right?
Yeah. I mean, almost. I mean, you're the best of everybody else, which is not bad. I mean, I would take it in a heartbeat. But how are you finding that? Because obviously, that massive four-wheeled rivalry that exists in Oz, particularly that kind of the V8 bad boys and everything. Yeah. How are you finding being in the other championship as from spectators and engagement and stuff?
It's an interesting question. There's a lot of excitement about it. I think anything that's sort of coming from Europe that has a bit of a global appeal to it is quite well received here. And supercars are going through quite a tough period at the moment in terms of the budgets that it takes to run the cars and all that sort of thing. And they undoubtedly, depending on who you ask, have lost a lot of loyal followers over the years. We've unfortunately lost Holden, which was our Australian-made brand. So that essentially took a lot of the wind out of the sails for supercars, because they were always that red and blue sort of rivalry. So they're going to the Mustang Camaro for next year, the year after. No one still really knows what's going on. And Supercars is also for sale at the moment as well. So the politics side of things here is just as strong as it is over in the UK, I can imagine. But in terms of a fan base, there's a lot of people jumping on the TCR train. And I think, especially in COVID times, we've come to appreciate just having sport in general. So having a race on the weekend doesn't matter if you're a supercar fan or a TCR fan, it's racing. So people are watching it. So, and I think it's a good alternative here because, the Mustang and the Holden aren't our biggest sellers in Australia. The Japanese manufacturers pretty much rule here. So Toyota's been number one for the last 10 years, I think, or more. Honda, Hyundai, the European brands like Volkswagen, obviously Audi Group as well, are really strong. So it's those cars people are driving, and we're racing those cars. So we find our customer or fan base is a lot of enthusiasts and guys that are actually working on their cars and taking their cars to track days. So it's the uptake's quite good.
Your season so far has been ever so slightly disrupted, but when you were able to race in a car rather than on a bike, like we said, you're doing okay. How are you finding the Audi? How are you finding, and in turn, how are you finding the championship?
Yeah, it was an interesting debut into the series, because for a start, I didn't actually know that Chaz was going to be my teammate until kind of a few weeks before. It was a pretty well-kept secret, actually, until I actually got to Melbourne. It hadn't quite been announced yet. And Australia's quite a big country, obviously. I think you could fit about 3 Englands in one state of each or more. So we were in Brisbane when the first official test day was on. And as that happened, Brisbane went into a snap lockdown. So my car was all liveried up and everything ready to go at Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit with no driver to get in it and actually drive it. So the first round in Tasmania was a track that I've never been to before, and B, because we missed that initial test at Phillip Island, I think I might have got maybe 30 laps in the car at a smaller track called Winton down in Victoria. So, minimal time in the car, never been to this circuit before. And it was just like, we've got the sponsors are on board. We've done all the work. We're all committed. Let's just do it. And I think, practice, we were looking okay in that first round. And then quali came, and lo and behold, we were the quickest Audi in Q1, and we were, like Chaz was sort of having to nip at our heels a bit, which was great. And that kind of, I feel like we could feel the team kind of realize around us that I wasn't just going to be like a rookie. They were like, oh shit, we've actually we could be on here for a 1-2 sort of thing. So Chaz did a great job that weekend, and I probably wasn't as sort of consistent on my race pace. But yeah, I think we finished third and fourth for the weekend. The Alphas were really strong at Tassie. And then, down to Phillip Island, still with no testing. And Chaz and I put on the front row and had some mega battles, which I'll send you some footage of. There's a great commentary moment where Chaz has been like towing me down the straight and I'm putting a block on, and he pops two wheels out onto the grass at about 270 Ks. And because it's a front wheel drive, it's like checked up at the front, and he's kind of like sideways coming into turn one. So, being able to do battle with a guy like that, hold pace on him in quali sessions and that sort of thing has been huge for my profile here. And hopefully, some of the supercar guys start to look at that as well, because the endurance driver market's pretty strong here in Australia. So, currently sitting second in the championship, and it's a very tight battle for second at the moment. So, still need to be on our game whenever the game restarts again. So,
although you can't race in the real world at the moment, thanks to the world that we live in, you are going to be racing virtually. So you are going to be one of the drivers on the Blue Streak Sim Racing Championship that will be shown live and highlights here on Is It Fast TV rather than the podcasts. How in the world have you found yourself racing in what will be the premier sim racing championship?
Liam will be happy about
that. Well, this is it. You've got to keep the organisers happy.
It's an interesting one. I actually don't know. I mean, I keep a pretty close eye on what's happening in the UK and like who the guys are that are coming up through, say, your Clio Cups and whatever else is happening in F3 over there. Just because if we ever get the opportunity to run British touring cars, we kind of need to know some of these people. So, and I like to know my competitor as best I can. So there's probably a few people getting stalked by me that have no idea who the hell I am or why I'm following them. But I think through that,
creep.
Yeah, I know, it's such a creep. Through that, I don't know. I can't remember if I followed Blue Streak or one of the guys that got announced for Blue Streak. And then all of a sudden, there's this inbox, and it was Liam, and he's like, "Hey mate, do you wanna come and race the E Series?" And I was like, "Yeah, tell me more about it, and I'll get on board." And so we started having more of a chat, and the timing couldn't be better really for us right now. So I mean, supercars have got their series happening here, which is going on Foxtel and everything at the moment that we have in Australia. But TCR aren't doing their thing at the moment. So I've got a sim, I've got 2 arms and legs, so I'm still ready to get behind a wheel, and it's an opportunity. So it sounds pretty exciting too. I like his outlook on it.
But it is exciting. Sim racing is this is going to get a lot of attention. Obviously, it's a good chance for you to put yourself in a shop window around the world. Not that Australia doesn't have its merits. See, now I can't help but insult.
It's started already.
It is started. And do you know what's worse? I'm a commentator on the actual championship, so that's going to be good. Yeah, it's going to be even worse. But it's exciting. Obviously, you'll get a chance to race circuits from around the globe from the comfort of your rig. Are you managing to kind of limber up and prep ahead of time? Are you kind of getting your eye in?
Yeah, I have been doing most of my simming. I'm looking at my rig now. If you're wondering why I'm staring off into the distance there, it's not because this conversation's boring at all.
Or you're being held hostage and they're just waiting for this to be over. Come on, hurry up.
It's I've mainly been on Assetto Corsa,
Okay.
GT, ACC. Sorry.
Mhm.
So yeah, and racing in a pretty competitive league here with a bunch of guys called Race on Oz,
Mhm.
who they call themselves Ruse, which is has been really really good. Um, we recently won the Spa 22.4 hour here in
Oh, there you go.
Ruse.
Right.
Not that that's anything really to write home about, but
Hola.
so I mean, I'm pretty au fait with most of the tracks that I think we're going to be racing on. I haven't been on iRacing too much recently.
Right.
As soon as I got the update from Liam that we're running iRacing, I was like, oh, better renew the membership.
Yeah.
I haven't quite brushed up on it yet, but I will be. And we've got a new sim rig partner coming on board, which I'll announce as well. So stay tuned for that. But
Excellent.
the apartment's getting an update, which is much needed. So I'm looking forward to it.
Is there a big difference between the real
Uh,
thing and the sim for you?
I actually find it harder to drive the sim, if I'm being honest. I find it takes a lot more focus because you just don't have the same feelings and peripherals around you that you do. Like Liz could just walk in and like give me a cup of water, whereas like if she tried to do that in a TCR car, she'd be like half hanging out the window and the water would be everywhere. So it's like you've kind of really got to focus on trying to get into the zone. And I think that's where like having a half decent setup can really really help.
Well, what would be an acceptable result for you? Say race one.
Oh look, I'd like to get the underdog win for sure. I'm gonna back myself for that. But having not been on iRacing for a while, I'm gonna muster that up as a little excuse just in case I'm not on the pace.
Good idea. Keep that
For
in
the
the back
first
pocket.
round. You always have to have it, right? You've always got to
Yes.
have a nice little excuse there. It'll be the car. It won't be me.
100%. Do you know what car you're in yet?
I haven't decided yet, so I haven't
Okay.
nominated. But I've got a couple of mates who are big on iRacing, so I'm going to jump on like, this weekend with them and have a bit of a blast on a couple of different cars and see what I like. I think the Aston and the Ferrari have been good for me in previous rigs, whether it be Gran Turismo or ACC. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know.
Just to bring it back to the real world, you've got another two to go. So you've got, you'll finish up in Bathurst, which is great. You've got Bend Motorsport Circuit. Feels like a weird.
Yeah, the Bend.
The Bend. There you go. So you'll be back. Hopefully, all being well, you'll be back, but behind the wheel of your RS3 towards the latter end of the year. Obviously, it will be shooting towards what will be your summertime. So it's going to get pretty toasty warm in there. I imagine you'll start boiling in a bag like the chicken no one wanted. So that'll be good fun for you. Best of luck with that.
While your boys are whinging about doing Dunlop tyre tests in the freezing cold, I'm going to be in a mobile sauna, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Jeez.
Literally.
I will not drive anywhere without a hotel on the pit lane.
Mate, it's pretty easy to get used to when you put your race gear on up in the hotel room and then you walk 10 steps down to your car in the pit lane.
I mean, that's pretty pimp, to be fair. I don't know many places that you could do that anywhere. That's that is boss, to be fair. I'll give you that. But
so that's kind of out of the way in terms of our major cities. So I suppose that's why they've chosen to go there to try and get 2 full weekends done. So what we're doing is we're qualifying for rounds 5 and 6 on the Saturday. On the Friday. So we'll have 2 lots of practice and 2 lots of quali on the one day. Then we'll bank all those tyres. The Saturday will be round 5, 3 races. And the Sunday will be round 6, 3 races. So we're doing double the amount of Ks in one weekend.
Poses a lot of mechanical questions. I know you're quite handy under the hood anyway. So, but still, that's asking a lot of your 2 litre kind of You know, that's going to be interesting, right? I'll tell you what, though, just from a sporting perspective, you know, from this side of the screen, you know, when we're not actually, you know, when those of us who aren't having to do it, what a great thing, you know, rubbish for you. But at the same time, you know, particularly as you say, you know, weekends have had to be postponed and moved, and you guys down there and are still really struggling, and you know that's not great. But when it does arrive for the fans, I mean, I'm assuming no one's going to be allowed in to watch it at the circuit, I guess. But time will tell. But how mega is that? You got 6 rounds of racing, 6 races across a weekend.
Yeah.
Where factors that don't normally, I mean, you know, you might think you have a reliable motor, but you know, will you have a reliable motor? You know, come race number 5, day number 2,
exactly.
You know, running hot all this time. It's incredible. Yeah, sweet. No, that's wicked. That's wicked. No, that's wicked. You know, that especially because that's what, you know, motorsport fans are motorsport fans. You know, so time difference aside, it's I think, as many people who can watch what's going on, the better, I think. So, so it's and what a crescendo to end what has been quite a turbulent season. All being well, you'll you know, and do you know what? Considering what's going on, if you podium, it's a win, right? That's well, finishing probably after the bends, it'll be a win. If you just get some points. So there we go.
Mate, if we can bring home a top 2 in this series and a rookie of the year, I think I'd be pretty content with that. To be honest, if you had told me that I would have had podiums this year and fastest laps, and we've already done what we've done, I would have taken that and tapped out. You know, like just coming to the category has been a big step for us, like financially and off track. It was hard enough to get here, and then to actually do the business on track has been so satisfying. So yeah, I suppose anything from here is a bonus. So we just go for it.
There you go. What a positive outlook. And on that positive note, I will let you get on with your life. So what I will say, Luke, thank you very, very much for joining us here on Is It Fast. Thank you for talking about your upcoming appearance in the Blue Streak Esports Sim Racing Championship. And of course, best of luck as you head into what feels like the final million rounds of the super cheap TCR Australia Championship. But thank you very, very much for coming on, mate. We really, really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, mate. See you guys on Blue Streak.
Ha 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 ha!